New evacuation orders were issued in Santa Barbara County on Saturday morning as the Thomas Fire took aim at the hills above Montecito, with some wind gusts reported up to 65 miles per hour. The so-called sundowner winds are pushing south from the mountains down to the coast, removing moisture along the way, and are expected to present firefighters in Santa Barbara County with their biggest challenge since the Thomas Fire roared back to life a week ago. Officials said, when the sundowners surface in that area and the fire starts running down slopes, you are not going to stop it. Mark Brown, an operations section chief for the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, told reporters at a Saturday morning news briefing. And we are not going to stand in front of it and put firefighters in untenable situations. A significant boost in the humidity overnight Friday did virtually nothing to help, fire behavior analyst Tim Chavez told firefighters. One of the other characteristics of the strong downslope winds is it rapidly and abruptly scours the marine layer out of the coastal plain, Chavez said. One fire commander told crews to plan on getting your kicked. Saturday, the northbound 101 freeway into Santa Barbara was closed to traffic as evacuation orders were expanded in areas in and around Montecito and Summerlin. Area residents could be seen piling into their vehicles and leaving town. Small platoons of fire trucks awaited orders with their engines running in the parking lots of public schools, churches and other designated safety zones. Several fire engines were also sent up to the historic San Isidro Ranch to protect structures. By late Sunday morning, the Thomas Fire had moved down from the mountains above Montecito and was now surrounding homes in the foothills, said David Zanaboni, a spokesman for the Santa Barbara County Fire Department. There's been fire all around structures just north of us, just above Cold Springs Road and the Westman College area, Zanaboni said. Crews have been in and around structures and just doing structure defense where they can. Wind gusts of up to 65 miles per hour blasted south down the San Isidro Creek drainage directly into Montecito. Unfortunately, they underpredicted this one, Zanaboni said. We weren't expecting this severe of a wind event and we're certainly getting the worst. This fire is 2 weeks old and here we are battling it like it just started again this morning. Resident clearances are stood off the shoulder of Highway 192 next to the Montecito Fire Station and pointed to a row of fire trucks and tankers parked about 50 yards away. Caesar, his wife, and 2 of his 3 daughters were planning to evacuate. He said, "Look at how many firefighting assets they have. I know what they're doing. I trust that they can do everything they can to protect the structures," he said. But it's the wind. Nobody can fight the wind. The northerly offshore winds are blowing steady at an overall 29 miles per hour and could drive the fire all the way to the coast, said Tom Fisher, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. The wind event should last until about 6 p.m. Saturday and then gradually subside in Santa Barbara County, he said. Crews then will have to shift their focus to Ventura County, where the northern edge of the fire is moving east and red flag conditions are expected to remain in place until Sunday night, officials said. Winds could gust up to 55 miles per hour. The Thomas Fire is now the 3rd largest fire in California's history since accurate recording began in 1932. The wildfire, which started in Ventura County on Deck 4, had scorched 259,000 acres as of Saturday morning. The westernmost edge of the giant Thomas Fire was in the north-south canyon drained by San Isidro Creek. An army of firefighters was trying to keep the fire away from homes. But if the blaze reaches the canyon and the winds breathe new life into the flames, there is nothing to stop it from racing into the foothill homes of Montecito, Brown said. While containment was at 40%, officials said the northwestern edge of the massive inferno was still very dangerous. Firefighters have smothered the hills with hundreds of thousands of gallons of fire retardant in an attempt to keep embers from igniting spot fires and to keep flames at bay, Brown said. Some hillsides have been intentionally denuded above Montecito, Summerland and Carpinteria, including in Romero and Turo canyons, to limit the potential damage. The fire is out in much of those areas, which are now protected by established containment lines, he said. Authorities were most concerned about flames around San Isidro Creek overnight, he said. There was a limit to how much flammable vegetation could be burned in a controlled manner before the fire arrived at the canyon. It would have been too risky to attempt a controlled burn there during days of stubborn winds because that fire would sprinkle dangerous embers throughout the communities to the south and west, Brown said. So at some point Saturday morning, when the spotters on mountaintops alert crews below that the winds are coming, firefighters will clear out and wait to see whether their preparations were enough. If the winds catch the flames well enough to send the blaze running south down the canyon toward Montecito, we won't stop the spread, Brown said. There are hundreds of homes in the fire's potential path, and with winds that strong, it's too dangerous to put firefighters in front of it to stop it. They would have to the fire pass by from designated safety zones, then attack it from behind. Brown said he expected that structures would burn Friday night or Saturday if the winds return. More than 300 engine crews are posted along road shoulders, in open fields and on private estates with plenty of room to operate. An additional 300 are ready to flood the area. We are doing anything and everything we can to keep the community safe, Brown said. Martin Johnson, a division chief with the Santa Barbara County Fire Department, sent a message directly to residents in the potential evacuation zone. If you are in an evacuation order area, I am asking you to please heed that order. If you're in one of the warning areas, be ready to go at a moment's notice, Johnson said. This is a significant event and we want everybody to be ready. Commanders have identified specific locations in the mountains that would trigger additional evacuations if the fire reaches those points. Friday was the 12th consecutive day of red flag fire warnings, the longest sustained period of fire weather warnings on record. We put out plenty of red flag warnings, but we haven't seen them out 12 days in a row. That's unusual, said National Weather Service meteorologist Kurt Kaplan. This has been the longest duration event that we have had a red flag warning out without any breaks. Red flag warnings were instituted by the Weather Service in 2004 and are intended to alert fire agencies to hot, dry and windy conditions that foster wildfires. The National Weather Service warned that red flag conditions would be in effect in the Santa Barbara County mountains from late Friday night through Saturday evening. Red flag conditions also are forecast in the mountains and valleys of Ventura and Los Angeles counties late Saturday night through Sunday evening. They also were forecast for parts of Orange, Riverside and San Bernardino counties Sunday. Red flag warnings were also in place for this weekend across large swaths of California, including parts of the Bay Area, the Central Valley and Sierra Nevada. The Thomas Fire has killed 2 people, including a firefighter on Thursday, destroyed more than 1,000 structures and damaged hundreds more. The fire began December 4th in Santa Paula near Thomas Aquinas College. In its first day, the blaze spread southwest, toward Ventura, and northwest, eventually hugging and sparing Ojai before pushing to the Santa Barbara County coast. The fire is so large that its eastern and western fronts are influenced by entirely different wind patterns and terrain. In many ways, it's as if firefighters are battling 2 separate fires some 40 miles apart. Much of the fire's recent growth was north of Ojai in the Rose Valley east of Highway 33, where flames are feeding on chaparral and dead vegetation, said Jude Olivas, a spokesman for the agencies battling the fire. The rest of the fire's spread was either north deeper into Los Padres National Forest, or to the west, where it crawled along canyons near the wealthy enclaves in Summerlin, Montecito and Santa Barbara. CAL FIRE crews have been painstakingly working alongside firefighters from 10 other western states to scrape containment lines that would service fire breaks before winds were expected to shift Friday night. Streaks of red fire retardant dropped by aircraft or sprayed by tanker trucks line the hillsides as well. Firefighters conducted small, controlled burns that destroy fuel for the wildfire. Crews ignite backfires using either a flaming, fuel-filled drip torch or a stubby, a pistol that launches flares 20 to 40 feet into the brush. Water tankers and firefighters continually monitor these fires and douse them if they grow too large, Olivas said. Firefighters estimate the blaze has cost $96.9 million to fight. There were an estimated 8,300 firefighters battling the fire Friday. Caption Serna reported from Montecito and Ventura, Bahia from Los Angeles. Times staff writer Rongong Lintu contributed to this report from Los Angeles. Joseph.Serna@lawtimes.com Brittany.Mejia@lawtimes.com Updates 1:55 p.m. This article was updated with new information from fire officials. 1:00 p.m. This article was updated with new comments from Montecito resident. 1235 p.m. This article has been updated with new information from fire officials. 1140 p.m. This article has been updated with new information from fire officials. 1050 a.m. This article has been updated with information about new evacuation orders. 930 a.m. This article was updated with new information from fire and weather officials. 805 a.m. This article was updated with the latest fire direction and other details. 655 a.m. This article was updated with revised figures for the size of the fire. This article was originally published at 2 a.m. Wildfires National Weather Service.